Hey everybody, welcome to Life is Beautiful. I'm Anthony. A little while back, I actually did a research video on the confusing and muddled origin of the black IPA. And although the jury's still a little bit out on that one, during my research, I came across another very interesting story that I wanted to cover and I wanted to put in that video. It just didn't quite fit, but it was still so unique and so quirky that I felt like it needed to be told. People needed to hear about this. So I'm just going to take a couple seconds of your day today and talk about this weird bit of black IPA history. I mentioned in my video how the black IPA is often attributed to be one of the most uniquely American beer styles, being originally created in Vermont. And it was the Vermont Pub and Brewery where the black IPA actually kind of got its start, with a uniquely dark and extremely hoppy beer known as the Black Watch.
The story behind the Black Watch IPA begins in 1994 with the Vermont Pub and Brewery's legendary head brewer Greg Noonan and his assistant brewer Glenn Walter. The pair was wanting to brew an equivalent to an outpouring of emotions as somewhat of a cathartic form of therapy to help Glenn Walter deal with his recent divorce. Wanting a good base for their liquid therapy session, the two brewers looked to an already existing example of a beer that was inspired by a marriage gone wrong, the famous Buffalo Bill's Alimony Ale.
So Walter wanted to take the Alimony Ale and he wanted to use it as some type of expression for his emotions that he was dealing with during his recent divorce. He wanted to brew something that was quote unquote dark and bitter. And that's kind of what they did. They took the classic Buffalo Bill's Alimony Ale and they altered the recipe to include some darker malts and a aggressive amount of Cascade hops. And Black Watch was hugely successful. It became a constant favorite of the people of Vermont and actually became a regularly appearing beer on the Vermont Pub and Brewery's tap list. And despite its gloomy origins, the Black Watch actually became one of the most important and actually inspirational beers in all of craft history.
In 1995, John Kimmich, now known as the founder of the Alchemist Brewery and father to the all-time great Heady Topper, tried the Black Watch IPA at the Vermont Pub and Brewery. John was instantly in love with the concept and attempted to create his own version known as El Jefe at the Alchemist, which you can still try today. Fellow Vermonter Sean Hill of Hill Farmstead fame tried the El Jefe Black IPA and was inspired to brew his own version, which was known as the Dark Side Black IPA at the Shed Brewery. This was before opening Hill Farmstead. Around a decade after the Black Watch's initial release, legendary hopslinger Mitch Still of Stone Brewing fame, and who also quite literally wrote the book on brewing IPAs, tasted the Dark Side Black IPA at a beer festival, and that inspired him to brew the Stone Sublimely Self-Righteous Black IPA, which is considered by many Black IPA fans to be the definitive example of what a Black IPA should be, going on to inspire quite literally countless craft and home brewers around the world still to this day.
So I just find it so crazy, so weird and quirky that something that it started off as so sad and so depressing, it became so inspirational and actually inspired so many of, honestly, the most important and significant people in the craft beering world, and especially the hop game. Some of the best people who've ever brewed aggressively hopped beers were all inspired by this one man just pouring his emotions out into his beer. It's almost poetic, it's artistic in a way. It's also interesting that because of that failed marriage, we basically spawned either the birth or the rebirth, depending on what sources you want to believe, of the Black IPA. But certainly the American Black IPA, for sure. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. Just that quick little blurb. It was just so interesting to me. It was just such a quirky, weird bit of beer history, and I really wanted to fit into the last video. I just couldn't. So anyways, that's enough of your time I'm taking up. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember, there is a story in every bottle. I believe that more and more as I go on this channel. It's just insane. Anyways, thank you. Cheers.